Hey, what up YouTube? Welcome back to a new video with Rams Fan YT, and we're doing a live watch along today. We've actually got, this is the first of two that I will be doing, but the one that I'm hoping more for a outcome to go in my favour, as we're watching Derby County take on Leicester City. Boyhood Derby County fan have been all my life, and a huge game up against local rivals Leicester, although we much more hate Forest. I think Leicester probably hate us a bit more. I'm not sure. But it's still going to be a huge game, hugely passionate game as well. Historically, Derby have the better record in this head-to-head. I'm hoping we can come through. We're at home at Pride Park. We're just going to go through the lineup. Derby are operating a 4-3-3 system. Got Zetterstrom in goal, which is not really too much of a surprise. A back three of Langas, Sanderson, and Clark. Matt Clark, that is. Wing backs will be operating, I imagine, in Joe Ward and Callum Ailder. A midfield two of Ebu Adams and Bobby Clark. And a front three of Ben Brereton Diaz, Salverson, and Patrick Agyemang. Leicester City on a 4-2-3-1. They got Stolarkits in goal. They got Luke Thomas as the left back, Yannick Vestergaard and Nelson in the midfield in the defensive two, with Ricardo Pereira off on the right. The midfield two of Skip and James. A forward attacking three of Mavididi, De Cordova Reed, and Fatu. And the target man up front, the legend, is Jordan Ayew. So very decent lineup for both teams, I would say. Obviously, we're missing Morris. Just to go through the benches, Derby got on their bench, Craig Forsyth, Danny Bath, Corey Blackett-Taylor, Andreas Weimann, Liam Thompson, Caden Jackson, Ryan Nyambe, Josh Vickers, and Curtis Nelson. Whereas Leicester have Voutface, Hamza Chowdhury, Carranza, Patson Daka, Louis Page, Asmir Begovic, Silko Thomas, Olabade Aluko, and Jake Evans. I would argue that Derby's bench is actually stronger than Leicester's at the moment. There's a few good players in that Leicester team, but there's a fair few youngsters as well. I think Derby's team may be coming. I don't know. I think this might be quite an even game. My predictions from my prediction video was a 2-2 draw. I'm going to stick with that. I'm hoping for an entertaining game, and I'm hoping Derby don't do anything silly. I'm particularly looking at someone like a Warner and Elder conceding a penalty, because we will probably be operating a back five for quite a lot of the game. But I'm looking forward to it, and we are about to get underway here, I think. No, 10 minutes away, sorry. I thought I said 30, but no, it says 20. So still 10 minutes from the beginning of the game. Let me know your score predictions, what you think's going to happen in this game. I'm really hoping that Derby do something in this one. John Eustace has had a decent run of form. A couple of bad performances of late up against Borough and Watford, but we also beat Swansea before the international break, won 5 games in a row. That's the sort of form that I'll be hoping we're going to be taking into this game. Leicester City, they certainly had a slow start to the season, but you know, the Championship now, it's well and truly shaping up, and Leicester are beginning to grow a bit stronger at the moment. They're still 16th, though. They're on the worst run of form, arguably, of the two teams. 3 losses in the last 6 games, 2 wins and 1 draw. I would say Derby are favourites to go into this, but I don't think it's comfortable by any stretch of imagination. 2 points separating the two teams. The earlier kickoff as well. Other games which will be kicking off in the Championship at the same time are Charlton Athletic versus Portsmouth and Watford versus Norwich. So we'll keep a tab on some of the early kickoff games as well as we continue going through. I'm just glad that we're not playing up against a team like Coventry on telly, because we would be absolutely demolished at this stage of proceedings. Mid-table in 11th, Derby. I don't think we're doing it too badly. My expectations this season was that we're just going to miss out on the playoffs. I think for some people, it's a mid-table finish. Obviously, you're just hoping to get as high as possible, realistically, aren't you? But yeah, I think we're a few minutes. We started slightly early, but yeah, I think you've got to look at Leicester at the moment, and I think they're historically underachieving for where they are at the moment. Harry Winks is an interesting player missing from the Leicester team, actually. Is he injured? Is there any reason why Harry Winks is not featuring in that starting 11? I'm not sure. If you know, do let me know. All the information passed on will be useful, but he would have certainly been someone I would have thought. But interesting if we can get Corey Blackett-Taylor on. I'm interested in seeing, because I've not seen him play since pre-season pretty much. And that is something that he's certainly someone who can change a game, but I think we're going to be low on possession. I think Leicester's going to be a possession-based team, but we always are. We've also got the FA Cup draw happening on Monday, and Derby are ball number 14 for that. So I'm really hoping for a good draw. Yes, apparently. So yeah, we've got a couple of players injured now: Ozo, Morris, and Max Johnston. Max Johnston actually might be coming back soon, I think, and Lewis Travis as well, our captain. So we're looking a bit light on midfield. Ryan Brewster as well. He is apparently due back on Friday. But Danny Bath is back. I don't know if he was necessarily injured, but he's on the bench for today's game. A bit of an experience, a bit of know-how, whether he needs to come on. At the moment, I think my back three have been pretty solid. Dion Sanderson has improved loads since his early season criticisms towards him. He's certainly been player of match for a couple of games, hasn't he? But Langas, as ever, he was sort of a catalyst, really, for that change that we saw improving defensively. Matt Clark headers almost every ball away. He's someone I think defensively we are solid. Salverson, I've been rating for a while, so I'm hoping he can actually do something in this game. He'll have a bit of a run in the team, I imagine, now that Morris is injured. And he's still got decent wingers for him. Brereton Diaz and Ajimang both can score goals at this level as well. Ajimang scoring in the last game, of course, in the second minute. This is... I mean, they're showing EFL highlights. It is a rainy derby today, a bit of a wet one. Don't know if that necessarily suits either of us. It shouldn't affect the game too badly. Everyone's really ready for this one. I imagine it's a sold-out Pride Park. I would really suspect so. Derby are one of the best fan bases in the Championship, and I'm not saying that because it's biased, but you just look at it. Chris Martin is actually the person who I think is on commentary duty. Obviously, a huge Derby legend on the telly. It's on ITV. If you want to watch that along and have me as a sort of background listening, I would not mind at all. But yeah, I think Chris Martin, they've got Mark Albrighton, who's a Leicester legend, and Chris Martin, who's the Derby legend. I know which one I'd rather have in my team. Good old the wardrobe, but Chris Martin, that big number 9. But Carlton Morris is very much in a similar mould of in senses. But yeah, the players are in the tunnel. with all their mascots eagerly waiting. Just looking at Zetterstrom here, who's always a bit of a character. I think Zetterstrom doing the forward roly-polies at the end of the matches and stuff like that. And Ibu Adams, the captain, leading the Rams out. I don't know why the Leicester players are wearing hoodies and the Derby players are wearing their kit. Are they that much of a wimp coming into the rain? I don't know. But yeah, we are 3 minutes away from kickoff. We're certainly not far away now. Again, leave any score predictions that you have in the comments. Any sort of thoughts that you have from the lineup. And yeah, the other game, if you were wondering what I'm going to be live watching along later on today, is in the FA Cup. Actually, it's I believe it's involving Sutton United versus, what is it? It's Sutton United versus Shrewsbury Town. That's it. And that's at 5:15. So we'll probably be on air at 5 for that one. So give me a bit of a break between the two to get some lunch, get some food. But we're focusing in this stream on the mighty Rams and hoping to see them be able to win this game. If you're expecting unbiased commentary, this is certainly not the place to be. I will be the most biased of all in this one as a Derby County fan. I have seen Derby once this season. I saw them when they were playing against Coventry, but that was very early days. And we were relatively even until the 70th minute, really. And then we, weren't so much. So that's hoping for not a similar performance to that one. But we were up against Coventry City at the time, who are the best team at the moment in the Championship and probably will be for this season. I can fully envisage them getting promotion. We are 1 minute away from kickoff. In the last 6 matches in the head-to-head, it's been 1 win for Derby, 4 for Leicester, and 1 draw. So Leicester certainly have the better of the heads-to-heads, but we are currently in 11th, Leicester in 16th. It will be an interesting one, and I certainly hope we can get a win in this one. Quickly go over the starting lineup. It's got Zetterstrom, Langas, Sanderson, Clark in defence, Joe Ward as well as Elder, Ajimang, Adams, Clark, the other Clark, Barrett and Diaz, and Salverson is our starting lineup. In a bit of a disjointed order there. Sorry about that. Leicester have Stalakits, Luke Thomas, Vestergaard, Nelson, Ricardo, Skip, James, Mavadidi, Divock Reeve, Fatuo, and Ayu. And they're operating in a 4-2-3-1 Derby, allegedly in a 4-3-3, but I mean a 3-4-3 rather. But I suspect that maybe dropping into a back 5 and do a 5-2-3. Steve Bloomer echoing around the stadium. Steve Bloomer's watching, helping us fight, guiding our heroes in the black and the white. Marty Cifuentes, obviously the manager of Leicester City. Ex-QPR man. I thought he was an all right manager at QPR, but I think he is a bit of a mid-table championship manager. Not necessarily the aspirations that I'm sure Leicester have. He's a very good tactician, and I think it will be Leicester to kick us off in this one. We're running slightly late, actually. It's 31 according to my thing, so not sure why that is. Instantly applying the pressure from Ever Salverson, which has forced it out for a throw-in for us. Very good from the big Norwegian. I think he's a bit like Haaland in a sense, and we're sort of playing how we normally do around the defensive bit. Matt Clark on the ball now, and he passes it out to Elder, who will pass it back to Clark. I mean, come on. Aspiration. Clark booting it downfield. It'll be a bit of a long ball game, I imagine. Not much possession. Can Ajimang win this? Oh, I think that could have been. He's going to be in a right battle today. I think going up that wing, but I don't mind that too much. Leicester try and ping it forward out wide, and Langas will head that out for a throw-in. A solid defensive performances from Langas over the seasons, over last season. Even though he was only half fit, he is a different beast, and I truly suspect at some point he'll end up going to the Premier League. Salverson off to Ajimang. There's space for Brereton Diaz if Ajimang can find it. Ajimang's running across the field. He's on the other wing than he usually is. He lays it off to Brereton Diaz. Bobby Clark has got this, and he's gone for a shot, and it's going to be deflected up, headed clear by Leicester. Impressive start from Norwich. Langas, who then utilises the wings. Ibu Adams, I think, was on the wing there. But his pass wasn't quite good enough to find. I think it was Ward who was looking for that. But a good effort from Bobby Clark, the youngster on loan. I think he's from Liverpool, but he is a talented or did we? Oh, no, he was the one who came from. No, he came from RB Leipzig and he was bought, wasn't he? He was one or two, but he's a very powerful youngster. I always forget where they necessarily come from. Derby winning all the 50-50s, and Ayew has just left a fair, decent amount on Adams there. That was definitely not called for. And that's what a local derby is, to be honest. It is that sort of tackle. It was unwarranted. Ayew's just gone straight and stamped on him. That's a stamp. Whether that's considered he's gone for the ball and has stamped down, so I don't think he'll get a card, but it's definitely a free kick. And Adam's having a bit of a laugh with the referee. He's up and fine. I mean, if that was in the penalty area, you'd certainly be questioning more, but because it was almost dead in the midfield of the park, I think it's just sort of been laughed off a bit. Elder to take this. They're all standing in a line. It's almost a perfectly straight line in this corner. And it almost predictably goes sideways. Now it's gone long. That was a horrendous ball. Really, really long. I think it was Ward, actually, who was taking it. I keep on mixing them up. They both have two at the front of their fingers and they're both on the wings. And when you from a distance, you can't tell which one's which. But I'll try and rectify that. And that will be out for a Derby throw. Poor distribution from the goalkeeper there. Very poor goal kick. And I thought some of our distributions in the past was poor. That was something else. To be fair, I've not come across the goalkeeper before. I assume that he's from Poland with a name like Stalskits. But yeah, I don't necessarily know if I've come across him. Ajimang has he been fouled? I think he may have been fouled in that position. Or is Ibu Adams again? Ibu Adams getting pulled back this time. I thought it would be Ajimang being up. I don't know why Ibu Adams is doing so much wing play at the moment. That's a bit of a confusing one for me. He's meant to be a sort of defensive midfielder. Oh, my days for lagging so bad in this, but nothing comes from it. I think maybe an offside. I'm not sure. It was a bit of lag. Got a poor internet connection, clearly. And Leicester trying to do a bit of possession play are now running forward at Derby, but no difficulties for Langas at all. Ibu Adams, I think he's trying too much. I think he really is. I think he's trying to make a point to Eustace that he can be back in the squad, and he's obviously back to captaincy and seeing both Travis and Morris are out. But because obviously when Travis is back to fitness, you want to give it a headache, and I think Bobby Clark hasn't done great there. There is elements of the game for Bobby Clark to improve, but after all, he is still quite young, and so I'm happy for him to do what he sort of does quite well. He's a bit of a sort of ratting Mason Mount almost position at number 8. But we tend to play him a bit deeper than we sort of would have done with Mount. But he does give that sort of attacking into the box from midfield position, which is decent. Sanderson's done great there, and Adjumang with it now. I don't know who that was entirely meant to be for. It's gone back to the goalkeeper from a deflection, from an interception from a poor pass, to be honest, for Adjumang. We certainly look up for this game. Leicester have not produced anything, really. We're going long now from defence, and Sanderson just heads that away. Like, our defence have been really solid so far. I hope that continues throughout the game. Brereton Diaz on the left wing here. Bobby Clark. Matt Clark now to Dean Sanderson, who is in the centre circle. We're quite a high line at the moment, but we have got the possession. And that will be a foul up against Matt Clark by Jordan Ayew, who is just not getting the rough of a green at the moment. All he's really done is penalised a few players, He's not really getting that targeted approach, because he is very much that archetypal target man, Jordan Ayew. Was great when he was back. Was it with Swansea? Absolutely. I always confuse the brothers, him and Andre. Both came from a Monaco academy. Brereton Diaz has just been dispossessed, unfortunately. And Leicester will attack. They've got pace on that wing. I think that's Patson Daka. A really strong wing player, and they've just scored from it. That is so typical. Dicadorva over Reed has just been given it on the plate. Derby are 1-0 down on the 7th minute, even though we have been so dominant for most of the opening 8 minutes. Almost predictably, cut open with some fast, speedy play, coming out of a bit of nowhere, to be honest. And this isn't really anticipating quite how I would envisage it. It was passed out to Daka, I think, who's done a great run. No one picking him up. No one even trying to close him down. Sanders, it's Ibu Adams, I'd say, has left Dukadova over Reed. Is it? No. It was a number 6 who should have been intercepted by Ibu Adams, which will be James. It's Fatawu, not Patson Daka. He's on the bench. So Fatawu, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I don't know a lot of his Leicester City squad. They've changed a bit since I've last time seen him play. And I think there'll be a lot of question marks over Ibu Adams on that one. Not picking up James, but by pulling away from him, he just left that space. Well, Derby will kick off, and our predictable routine is Zetterstrom going long. We don't have Morris for it anymore. That is a bit of an issue. And Sanderson has fouled Ayew by running into the back of him there. I wouldn't blame Sanderson necessarily for that one. I think, even though he was probably meant to be the marker for the person who scored it, he was moving towards the winger. He's got so much pace. We need someone with pace to be able to keep up with him. And I don't know if we've got anyone in our squad who would be fast enough to deal with Fatawu, other than maybe Corey Blackett-Taylor. Would you play Corey Blackett-Taylor as a wing back? That is an interesting decision if we did. I'm not sure on his defensive prowess, but he certainly has that pace. Would be interesting. Could be an interesting decision if that was made. Leicester in midfield. Adjumang is running forward, giving it to Salverson. Clark just been got into the back of, sliding down. That is surely a foul, ref. How have you played on for that one? He was right slidden into the back of. An absolutely ridiculous one. But Derby still got a ball, whipped in cross, but not quite good enough for Ajimang to get. Second ball would be great in this position. Ajimang has it, but and it will be a corner, I believe. Although Ajimang looks quite disappointed in a sense of not being able to do a bit more with that. The American that we signed in the summer from Charlotte, was it? It was somewhere in America. He wasn't particularly well known, but he certainly, I think he's done all right moving from the MLS. This corner to be whipped in. If this is a direct goal from a corner, it would not be surprising because he's already scored a fair few in his time. Great corner. Ajimang couldn't quite get the right required contact on that. I think it will be a throw-in, though, to the Rams and Bobby Clark to take. I don't think Bobby Clark's got to take this, though. No, yes, Elder is coming to take the throw-in. No, what? Yes, Elder is coming to take the throw-in. Thrown it to Bobby Clark, who tried to shoot there. I mean, I think he saw the goalkeeper not quite in line for where he should have been, but it was relatively easy for goalkeeper in the end. And it'll be the goal kick has again gone for a throw, which Ibu Adams takes. Zeta Song with a slight miscue there. I don't think that was for anyone in particular. It was a decent enough pass, but just no one there. Ayew has just been marked out this game. He can see the frustration. The number 7 again for Leicester, who we know has pace. It's cleared up there by Elder, going out for a throw-in. I always get worried whenever a throw-in has been conceded by Rams, and it probably would have been Ward, actually, who knocked that out of play. I need to get my Elders and Wards correct because they're very similar mould of players and on the opposite wings to each other. It will be a throw-in taken by number 33 for Leicester, roughly in line with the goal line, not the penalty area. So, and it's been headed away, and a fairly solid performance. I think it was Matt Clark who did the defensive header in that one. Yeah, long throws don't necessarily work against us because we do have very good aerial prowess from our defenders. We're not very pacey. That's where we sort of will be lacking. And yet again, an incisive cut in there, making another throw in just a few yards down the pitch. Ayew will try and hold this up, but he's got Sanderson and Bobby Clark all over him. That surely will be a corner, but it came off Sanderson last. So the Jordan Ayew trying to do a hold-up play, but you don't do a hold-up play by the corner line, surely, for that sort of thing. I think at the moment we just need to head of this corner. They've had now a bit of a spell Leicester for the last few minutes. A very end-to-end game, a very needling game as well. Ibrahim has been a bit aggressive at the moment. You just need to calm down. James is going to be the one to take this corner for Leicester. There's all sorts of argy-bargy going on in the box. It's gone through everyone, and that is so poor from Derby. That is so, so poor. They have scored from this corner. It's now 2-0. It was Oliver Skip. That is... the ex-Norwich man, that is one of the worst defensive displays I've seen Derby do all season. We're 2-0 down in 15 minutes. Eustace needs to get into them because that is absolutely disgraceful levels of defending. I'm fuming at that. The first one was a decent play. They was too busy having an argy-bargy with the other defenders that they just completely left several people unmarked here. It's just got, that is a poor deflection away, and no one's picking up anyone. There's no communication. It was I think Ajimang was meant to be picking up someone there. It was a bit of miscommunication, to be honest. But Oliver Skip was just there, easy taking. There was no one defending him at all. Zetterstrom can't do anything in that position. Like, whew, poor, very poor. He's bowling as well, Oliver Skip. You can't be doing that. I mean, that is so annoying. Matt Clark with it now. I'm not happy. I'm not a happy bunny at the moment. Bobby Clark. Two shots, 2 goals, by the way, for Leicester. We've had 1 shot, and it was a tame one by Bobby Clark. Bit of a slipping of a pass there, which I think Fatua tried to claim as to be a free kick. It was just not good enough. Not good enough in the offence at the moment, but whenever we go offensive, we seem scared to pull off a shot. And that's what I liked about Bobby Clark's earlier. It wasn't the greatest shot, but at least he was taking that chance. Salverson's just not been found by people. Eustace looking a bit perplexed at the moment, to be honest, which is not a good sign necessarily for the manager to have on his face. I understand why. I think it's been one being a good play and one a very poor defensive mistake. And that is the issue. Derby do have a defensive mistake in them. Salverson's committed a foul in the defensive half of Leicester. Nothing bad will come of that. But it's just frustrating very much to watch at the moment because we're not a bad defensive team overall. We just have a few mistakes, and this always seems to happen with Derby. We've been actually all right defensively of late. Just some mistakes just creep in. And something has to be done about it. But who do you bring out? Because I don't think individually anybody has been bad enough overall over 90 minutes to be accused to bring out for a Forsyth or for a Danny Barr. It's such a hard one to square. Do you go to a flat back 4 and you bring off Elder or Ward and bring on maybe a Forsyth? I don't know, because then that restricts our wing play. Arguably, in a sense, we just don't dominate midfield enough. So when we get open badly. And Adjumang's just been blocked off a ball there, and he looks quite badly in pain. I think it's Yannick Vestergaard who's put in a bit of a cruncher. You can just tell Leicester are up a bit for the scrap in this one. It is a local derby for them. We don't necessarily consider it as much, but you do expect some pride to be played. But yeah, that is he's just not even tried to get the ball, and that is a deserved yellow card for Vestergaard. This game, I'm saying it now, has a red card on it. An absolute nailed-on red card for one of the teams. Adjumang limping away there. I think he's been quite badly hurt, actually. I'm not best pleased about that one. Hopefully he's fine, because Rhian Brewster's still got a few weeks left to come back to fitness. It would be the natural replacement. Corey Blackett-Taylor, maybe, would be a natural replacement as well. Dion Sanderson, has that gone out for a corner? No, it's gone out for a goal kick. Dion Sanderson's questioning that decision there. But I don't know. I think it potentially... I don't know, actually. I don't think it necessarily did come off Sanderson. Carlton Morris in the stands watching on, unfortunately injured at the moment. He is somebody we are desperately missing, I will say it. He was such a key player for us. It's such a difficult position as well, being an injured player, because especially one who was so key to the team. He was such a big personality for us. And we do seem to also be lacking a bit of his vocalness, maybe. James on the ball now, passing out to Fatua, who whips it in. Do something, Sanderson, instead of just hugging him. Oh my days. Like, that could have been a penalty if Sanderson had, like, dragged him down there. He needed to make contact with the ball. Not great in the first 20 minutes for Derby. Headed clear. Ebel Adams on a complete miscue. Where was that going to, Mr. Captain? Oh my days. Salverson can't get that ball because number 25 picks it up for Leicester. A bit of a crunching tackle. Left a bit too much. It was Ebu Adams with that tackle. He's right scrapping at the moment. I'm not sure if necessary. Is he trying to do? He's got a yellow card for this, which one guy in the stand who's absolutely apoplectic of that decision. He was quite near it, to be fair. He has stuck a leg out, hasn't got the ball at all. Whether that's a yellow or not, I'm not sure, because there's been about equal in this game of that sort of tackle, but it is a bad tackle. I'm not going to overly protest that decision, but Edo Adams just needs to calm down. He's way too angry. He's going to get himself sent off. If I was Eustace, I'd be looking at bringing Tomo on for Edo Adams at half time or maybe 60 minutes. And that's another goal for Leicester. It's a diving header in from Ayew. It's turning from bad to worse. But it's given to offside. It's offside. Fuck for that. Oh, we are so bad. We are so bad. That was a great free kick, but yeah. Are you marginally offside? Are you literally only just, an arm offside? Well, that's another warning sign. Ayew is not dead and buried, he's a target man. He's someone they play off quite a lot. Oh, Derby, what are you doing? Put a tackle in. Langas has just been very physical there and given away a free kick, and he's going to get a yellow card. Ebu Adams going to go and talk over to the ref. I don't think that was a yellow. Was that a yellow? That surely was never a yellow. Yeah, there was contact, but I think that was a 50-50 with a bit more aggression from Langas there. A yellow card for Sondre Langas, but flipping it, that's a poor decision there from the ref. He's a bit bookie heavy, this ref. The occasion he's going to have a bit of aggro in it. Ebu Adams is professing way too much. It is his job as a captain. He can speak to the referee. He is allowed to do that, but he just needs to calm down. Someone needs to get around Adams and just tell him to calm down, because the way he's going to get a red card. I can just see it already. Everything about it, he's just too aggressive at the moment. Langas sort of just took it on the chin, in a sense, and I think Adams was more angry about that decision than anything. It's headed away by Derby for a corner. It was Elder who came in with that defensive header, who I don't really rate as much for his defensive ability, either Elder or Ward, but I think offensively they are great assets to have in the team. So it's that real balance of how do you do that. For example, why on earth are you standing right there? It's not... Sanderson seems to be doing more of the talking at the moment than anyone else in the team. Which is shocking considering he's not by far the most experienced person there. So Ebu Adams knocks it out for a throw-in. I'd like to know what's going through Adams' head. He's just trying too much and just getting too... I know he's an aggressive player, naturally, and I don't want to take that away from him. But in this one, he's going to get sent off, and it's something that we can't afford to be down to 10 men and 2-0 down. Langas is in a right battle with Vestergaard in the moment. Let's clear it. Langas going long. Can Ajiman chase onto that? No. Salverson tapping it forward, trying to get to Brereton Diaz, who can't win that aerial duel. Zetterstrom going long. Who's he looking for there? I think that's going to be Elder, who just gets shoved too easily off the ball there. But he will try and claim it back. No, it's gone long downfield. There's a tumbling Ayu who is on the floor, holding his ankle, claiming to be injured. I don't think there was anything in that, to be honest. You don't have to kick it out at all. I think he may well be injured, but you know what? That's on him. It wasn't a foul. And it's a local derby. And if you kick it out, he'll immediately just get up and act completely fine. Oh, he's up on his feet. Yo, he's completely fine. He's running now. Yeah, bet you're in a load of pain, are you? Flipping heck. You're just, look, he's completely fine. And he's actually just conceded a foul there and wanting it going the other way. He's a right form. There was nothing in that at all. So Fuentes is moaning to the fourth official, who just tells him to calm down. It's a drinks break. As Zetterstrom is actually down injured at the moment. Hope that isn't too bad, because although I don't mind Vickers, I do think Zetterstrom is one of the strongest players in our team. And this gives a chance for Eustace to absolutely get into the head. He's picking out players, isn't he? He's like, you need to do better. You need to do better. Like, at the moment, I think he's getting a bit aggressive, Eustace. He's getting passionate. I wouldn't say aggressive, he's getting passionate, and absolutely he should be, because at the moment it's not good enough derby, and Eustace needs to get into them, and I think that drinks break clearly has given enough, because I think that should give them some added impetus, potentially, because that was first pretty much half an hour. We've played for 28 and a half minutes, but half an hour or so, we have been off the mark at the moment, which is not great. It'll be a free kick taken by Elder around about halfway line. So it'll be interesting to see this one. I'll see if I can do the Newcastle versus Fulham in the EFL Cup as well, if you're wondering about that. But because I'll have to see. I sometimes do things on Wednesday nights. So. Angerman trying to claim something there, but I don't think anything was there to claim, to be honest. Ricardo will take this throw in. Matt Clark has it. Goes back to Zetterstrom, who lays it off to Sanderson, who will then do a pass back. Come on, we need something. I hope they start clicking. Ajiman trying to get something there, but Vestergaard just clearing that. I'm not overly happy with this current performance. It's painful being a Derby fan. It really is, because it's not as if Leicester have been particularly good. They've been very possession-based, which we knew they were going to be coming into this game, because that is how Leicester play. We've just not dealt with any of it. Langas isn't going to get there, and you know what? Just stand him up. Right, the cross comes in, and easy goal. Knew that was going to happen. James has scored a third. It's disaster day for Derby. Absolute disaster day. Horrendous. I knew they were going to score all over from that. As soon as Langas let the cross come in, like let him take his time to do a cross, there was going to be a goal. Absolutely horrendous. 3-0 down, 30 minutes. Absolutely disgraceful. Langas should have put a tackle in. He had several times to. And then no one's picking up a person who's taken a cross. And no one's picking up Justin. Put the tackle in on that number 10, Langas. I think Zetterstrom could have done better there as well. No one's picking up Thomas at all. No one's picking up James. And Zetterstrom's completely blindsided there. But whoever was meant to be picking up, there's no mark in here. No defensive stability at all. This is horrendous. What's it going to be? 8-9-0? Oh. Derby need to pull a miracle off if we're to get back in this game. I can't see it happening. Disaster. An absolute disaster. Brereton Diaz whips in a cross. Adjiman has that. Can score. Oh, it's off the crossbar. I thought that was going to go in. Oh, I think that was Ward rattling the crossbar. That was the response we wanted. Brereton Diaz doesn't a cross in. Selson can't quite get there. Adjiman can't quite get there. Ward come running in and smashing it. I wanted a bit more time than he thought. Rattled the crossbar, and we're unlucky in a sense not to get one in that sense. I think Adjiman could have done a bit better. Ward has slightly slashed at that. He saw the opportunity, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. Adjiman shoots, easy save. This is the passion that we wanted. How has it taken us half an hour to be 3-0 down to us to suddenly start putting a bit of passion in? The only person who showed any passion before that was Bobby Clark and arguably Zetterstrom. Derby, we're just not used to playing possession-based football. That's the issue. We just don't do it. That's not our style. And obviously there are better players. And Ward is never going to win that foot race, by the way, against their number 10. He just never will. He's over 30 now. He's not going to win a foot race against him. I'm impressed in terms of how we managed to keep Ayew relatively quiet, although he did have an offside goal scored. But everyone else is the wingers who's been the best play at the moment for Derby. Brereton Diaz, actually, I think has probably been recently coming one of our better players in this game. He's whipped another corner into Adjiman, who hasn't done anything with that. Adjiman just needs a bit more control on the ball. He's not quite going for him at the moment. I think you don't look at this game and you think, you know what, that's a 3-0. Almost everything that Leicester have done have turned to gold. Like that's simply how it is. Every forward play that they've had has resulted in a goal. Like shots wise. And that's just because Derby haven't been bad actually going forward too much. But when we just look phased out, we do look quite bad. Bobby Clark laying it off to Elder, who's going to do a cross in. Oh, Adjiman can't quite do that. He's gone scrolling in. He's gone absolutely trying to get that. I can see what he did, and he has left a fair bit on the keeper, who may be injured as a result of it. It wasn't malicious at all. He's gone trying to get that. He's run in, trying to get the ball, and they've both gone for it. And I think he's accidentally stepped on goalkeeper's hands. It's a risky play being a goalkeeper. It really is. And I don't think Ajuman meant anything by that, to be honest. He was just trying to get the ball and the hand at the same time. Yeah, certainly seems to be a bit improving. A lot of concerned faces, I think, from Derby at the moment. Interestingly, in the last 5 minutes, we've got 60% possession, which is a interesting stat because you wouldn't necessarily have thought that. But I think, yeah, Derby, I think, can slightly start improving. But you see, you look at the support in the Leicester fans; they're so happy at the moment. Like they're having a whale of a time. They've come out to their local rivals and absolutely dominating them. We can't concede a fourth, and we need to score the next goal, and it needs to be before half-time. At least we had a bit of a better foray at the moment, seemingly. We've got a throw in at the halfway line, I think, conceded by James. Our back three have got chemistry, so I don't want to disturb it too much. It's like bringing on Forsyth or Bath, it just wouldn't. It wouldn't, for me, feel quite right. Salverson's been too quiet for me as well. Bobby Clark skipping away and just being fouled there into the back off by Skip. A really promising talent, Bobby Clark. Really talented. But there was no need for that. He's just gone and clamped him in. Skip, he's know exactly what he's doing in that position. There's an aspect to me which is he's a very savvy player, Skip, and he knows what he's done there. His free kick taken long and punched away from a goalkeeper. Get to the seconds. Adams does not. We're now on a... Oh, my days. Someone get there. Great sliding tackle. I think it might have been... Why would Elder be up there? I don't know, but that far defensive. But it seemed to be the case that it was Elder or Ward. It was one of the ones which were covering back. I think it was Elder. Has done a great tackle, which has kept Derby probably not in the game because we're still 3-0 behind, but made sure that we weren't further behind. So credit where it's due in that one. It was a bit of a last-ditch one. I think Ibu for me needs to be the sub. Get Tomo on. Get Tomo on. No words for me can quite possibly explain how bad I think Ibu have been in this game, and get someone like Tomo on. We just need it. I'll go through the comments at half-time. Zetterstrom kicking it long. Bobby Clark tapping away and can't find Berenice in that one. It's gone out for a throw-in. Oh, it was Elder, I think he was trying to find, actually. A concern looking at Eustace, who's got some notes. Whatever your plan was coming into this game, Eustace, it's clearly not working. That must be said. Whatever positions that you had in the... I imagine that... I don't know. I don't even want to look at this current table of how this results change things, but absolutely disastrous day. Yeah, it goes out for a throw-in for Leicester to take. Thomas will take this. Got 5 minutes to half-time and just want to get this half to be over. So bad. For one saving grace is that if a 3-0 in at half time, I reckon they'll probably apply a bit less pressure in the second half and let Derby play a bit. But that may be just me naively hoping for something to happen. Because at the moment it doesn't look like it. A long throw in by Leicester, but again, we header it away. It's one of them ones. We know how to deal with long throws. We always have since we've had this sort of defensive free. We can't deal with that sort of thing, though, just messing around at the back. How this is permitted in this day and age to continue messing around in the back. We've done this for so long, Derby, ever since like Koku days. Even sometimes in the Lampard, actually, we ended up messing too much at the back. And it's a really bad habit to have for me. Warren sort of cut it out a bit in his team. It seems to have slightly sunk back in, though, of late. That was League One War, by the way, when we were in League One, not when he was in the Championship. He was somehow brought back when we were in the Championship. Oh, that's poor, Zeta Strong. That distribution was not great. Every ball at the moment, everybody's just cutting each other out. And it'll be a throw-in for Derby. Older to take it. Hard, really hard. Watching this as a Derby fan, you just want something to happen. I don't think I've ever done a Derby watch along on this. It's the first time I have, and it was a bad game to pick. Maybe get really you get the proper passion of me coming out in this one. Adjumang in the penalty area floats in across. Salverson's just gone straight up. He's not even headed that down. Like, you need to at least get it onto a target. I immediately regret bigging up Salverson. I really do. You should, problem is, what options do we actually have? We've got Vyman. We can bring on Vyman. Would he work at that target man? I don't know. Because he naturally played more in behind. And to be honest, I don't really want... Because that probably involved bringing up Bobby Clark, who I think has been one of our better players today. Brereton Diaz. Unless Bobby Clark moves out to a wing and Brereton Diaz comes off. But again, that's a risky decision. And Ayew is going to be on a counter-attack in this one. And he's going to do a 1v1 versus Sanderson. Low down, saved by Zetterstrom. It was a difficult angle for Ayew to score. But warning signs again. We don't. How many warning signs do we need? We've had the risk. We've seen the fatal edge of Leicester. Absolutely annoying performance. 1 minute away before we get to reveal how much stoppage time there'll be, which will be a little bit. There was a couple of injuries. There'll probably be 2 or 3 minutes, I imagine. Leicester in the box again. Clark having to clear it away. Everything just... I really, really want Derby to do something in this. Just a bit of magic. Just a goal out of absolutely nowhere. Adjumang just curling the ball into the top corner. I don't know, from like 40 yards out. That may just be what Derby need. I don't know. We're clutching. We're really clutching. I've not seen a poor performance from Derby like this for quite some time. Like, I really haven't. 4 minutes of added time before Eustace can get some words into his players. He needs to be shouting, throwing things, getting a bit of passion. Because Derby, in this one, absolutely well off the mark. This has got worse vibes than the Watford game. This may even be currently our worst game of the season. Generally, Now, this is going back to the start of the season sort of vibes, that we were having poor performances and we just looked so disjointed. We can't go on like this all season. We really can't. Well, what a waste of time that was. Generally better stuff I can be doing on Saturday afternoons than watching Derby get absolutely pummeled by Leicester. Sanderson going long. Salverson, for some reason, in the middle of the field. Why is Salverson now a midfielder? He's playing like Harry Kane, but he's nowhere near as good. Why on earth is Salverson in midfield? That shows you all you need to know about the lack of ability Derby have in midfield, really. Nothing is going through it. Like, they're trying. Like, they clearly would suit just having some good midfielders. In January, we need to bring in, I would say, 1 or 2 midfielders and a left back. That's on my Christmas wish list for January. And diving and save, could have got something there. Adjiman is just not getting the rough of a green at all. He can't. He's talented. He really is. You can tell in moments he's talented, but he isn't being able to consistently keep his head on like that contact and level head is what I'm trying to say. You know, when it comes under that pressure moment. But yeah, I mean, 2 minutes left of this half, which is just so draining to watch as a Derby fan. It sucks the joy out of you, doesn't it? You get highs with the highs and you get lows and lows, but normally quite a level-headed person, but this one, no. Not at the moment, anyway. Bobby Clark. Oh, there's no one supporting him. He's got the talent, he's got the flair, but he's just not got any support. And I feel bad for him because I think Bobby Clark in a better team would actually do an incredible job. He's definitely got a Premier League career on his hands, the youngster. Like, he for me gives me that sort of vibes of a bit like a Phil Foden, maybe. Like, certainly think if he makes it a bit more of a well-rounded career, I think he could definitely become like a serious good player. Still quite young, Bobby Clark, as well. So certainly one to look at. I don't want to reveal too many of Derby's secrets on this, but if you are a scout, I imagine you already know all about Bobby Clark and you won't be listening to an idiot like me. So on a whole crowd on rushing onto Leicester. Oliver Skip trying to get something there. Someone put a tackle in. We're afraid to make a tackle. That's not going to be a penalty, even though Ayu's desperately looking for one. We've definitely got the ball in that one, and that will be time for this half-time. Worst Derby performance I have ever seen. It's got some Leicester trolls in the fan group. Hi, can we play you every week? Dear ha ha, dear ha ha, bye. Yeah, okay. You can say that. I mean, you know what? It doesn't bother me. You've got your result. You get to gloat. Go on. But my days. Can we just call it quits? Like, can we just like give up? Oh, right. Well, we'll go with some sofa score ratings. I imagine Derby's in some severe negative figures at the moment at half time. Oh. Right. Look, we'll start with the Leicester team, so I'm not in too much to spare. A 7.2 for Stolarczyk. I don't actually think he's been that good, to be honest, and that's the annoying thing. Pereira on a 7.0. The captain today, he's done all right job. Nelson on 6.6 and Vestergaard on 6.6. That's the thing. These two centre backs, they've not actually been that good. We could have done much better. if we actually try some offensive play. 7.5 for Thomas, understandable. He got a great assist. A 8.0 for James. He scored. He's had an assist. Yeah, he's definitely my player of the match at the moment. 7.8 for Ollie Skip, who also scored a goal. A decent enough player, has been making Adams basically redundant. 6.7 for Issa. Well, I think Issa Haku. I think that's not who I've been saying this time. I've been saying Fatawu. So, but he's on a 6.7. His pace he's basically a pace merchant, and we've just not been able to cope with that pace. But other than that, if we had a bit more of a pacey player, maybe. I think Elder's not done bad actually dealing with him so much. Bobby Reed is on a 7.3. He has scored a goal, and his pace has also caused a bit of challenges for Derby. 6.8 for Mavadidi. I don't think he's really been doing that much, to be honest. I think I've not seen a great bit of him. He's more been a dribbler, to be honest, operating down the wings. 6.3 for Ayew. He's been their worst player. He's actually been marked out of the game. Onto the Derby team then. 6.1 for Salverson, has been way out of position too many times. If you just look at his heat map, by the way, you can see he's only slightly been in the opposition's box. He's mainly been in the midfield, which is just not where you want him to be. I don't think he's taken a single shot. No, he's not. And what is he doing? I do not know. 6.0 for Ajimang. I think he's not quite getting the rough of a green at the moment. And he had a shot, at least. A right-footed shot. But his dribbling has been horrendous. He's been just dispossessed. Been a bit annoying. Brereton Diaz has been the best of our front three on a 6.5. And he's had a few crosses in, which is surprising to see, considering people have often criticised Brereton Diaz as probably being our worst player. 7.2 for Eldo, who's probably our best attacking player at the moment. Absolutely ridiculous. He's been actually doing quite solidly as a winger and has done some good crosses. He's had 3 crosses. He's had one of them which was accurate, okay, so it's not greatest in terms of that, but his statistics for me are bearing out that he's probably been our best player rather. Bobby Clark on 6.9. Yeah, I don't think he's been too bad. I think for a youngster, you can't complain too much. He has been trying to do various aspects, passing and flicks on and all sorts at the moment. He's had 18 out of 25 accurate passes. Ibu Adams on 6.6, which I think is a bit high. I think he has been everywhere, which you can't expect with Adams. He has been a bit involved all over the match. So if you like that, if someone who's been a bit involved in everything and a bit of scraps, then great. For me, not quite. And I'm not somebody who's necessarily keen of seeing in the championship someone who's just going scrapping and getting angry when we need to have a bit of control. 6.4 for Joe Ward. Wait, I know he's a winger, but he's meant to be our winger, but he's a bit too. When he goes in field, he can actually do stuff, but too much of his passes have been backwards, not where we're meant to really be heading. Oh, wait, hold on. Unless that's changed the way around. No, we are heading that way, so we should be passing towards. Yeah, he's only done a couple of passes in pinging about into the box. Most of the time, he's been going backwards, to be honest. And the ones that he's pinged into the box haven't been accurate either. 6.3 for Clark. That's probably because he's a defender and conceding 3. But he's done a fair few clearances. I think he needs to put a few more tackles in, but he normally does a fair few clearances per game. And that's what you sort of expect from him. Dion Sanderson was 6.1. He's made a few interceptions and a few clearances, won both of his aerial duels. I think he's been slightly gotten the better of in a couple of situations. But I think, again, still not as bad as maybe this Ratesman. 5.8 for Langas. Yeah, he's had, I think, a really bad off day for me, Langas. He's not usually this bad. He's not usually this bad. 5.9 for Zetterstrom. Could he have done better with any other ones? I don't know. He's had one save that he's made, so maybe. But looking at the other ones, he's maybe the second goal from a corner, and maybe the fast break. But the fast break probably caught everyone a bit off guard. I don't know about that. I mean, social scores are based on statistics as a whole. And I think the issue is that statistically, Derby probably aren't that great. This is why there's a difference in statistic watching and watching the game as it is. And it's going to be one of them ones for me. Wards was the best chance for Derby had to get back into it, that hitting of a crossbar. That was the only chance I can think of where Derby were even close to being able to get something back into this game. And that's saying something. When your wing back is the person who is, or your wide midfielder, depending which way you want to refer it to it as, when either one coming out with the best opportunities, it says a lot about the quality of chances that we've really had and the chances we've actually even had in the first place. And it's not even due to, I think, Leicester's good defensive ability. I think we've just not been, our cross has been fine, but we can't get on the end of the crosses or the touches have just been taking the ball players away from the situation where they can be scoring. It'd be interesting to see how Chris Martin actually commentates on this. I think that's quite an interesting one. As Chris Martin's like one of the analytic people on the sideline. But no, I think Eustace is not going to be happy. And I hope he gets some stern words into the players at halftime. We're coming up, almost at the second half. We will just go over the scores on the doors around in these early kick-off ones. Aston Villa leading Arsenal 1-0 at half-time, which isn't too bad for up against the current top of the league. So Villa are doing all right there. Obviously 3-0 here. It's 2-1 for Norwich travelling to Watford. They started the season really badly, Norwich, but maybe this is the start of their upturn. Charlton Athletic versus Portsmouth is suspended at 0-0 at the moment. That's been since the 13th minute, I believe. I can't quite figure out the reason why that one is. I'm going to Google that quickly. Why has Charlton Athletic versus Portsmouth been suspended? There's been a medical emergency in the crowd. I imagine that they probably will be able to get that back onto play. I think. I would imagine they should be able to get that back into play. In League One, it's 1-0 up against Huddersfield. Cardiff, that is. 1-0, it's not surprising. They're doing quite well at the moment. Plymouth Argyle drawing 0-0 with Bradford City. Quite a long journey for the Bantams to make. 0-0 in Colchester versus Gillingham in an Essex v Kent. In the National League, you got Morecambe versus Boston United, with Boston United 3-0 up at half-time. Equally, Morecambe doing as bad as Derby, it would seem, at the moment in that one. There's no early FA Cup games. We are going to be watching one later at 5:15. We'll be watching Sutton United versus Shrewsbury Town in that one. So yeah, I think that's all the games which are currently going on at half time. Are you keeping across any of the other scores? Are you interested in them or not? I do not know. But yeah, I mean, Derby, in terms of changes, would I make any at half time? Maybe bring Adams off for Tomo. But I don't know. I've not seen Tomo in a while in Derby. He seems to be a bit out of favour at the moment, which is a bit disappointing, maybe. But I don't think he will take Adams off for Tomo. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. Would Vyman be an option again? Maybe getting something back in there, maybe to Salverson. Do we think that Vyman could play as that standout number 9? I don't know. I really don't. I mean, Brereton Diaz maybe can. So if you put Brereton Diaz ahead, Vyman behind, and Bobby Clark on the wing, you've also got Corey Blackett Taylor, who can maybe come on because he does something. But again, who are you bringing off? Are you bringing off Agyman for that? Are you bringing off? You're putting him in more defensively to cope in the wing plays and taking either Ward or Elder off. I wouldn't be taking Ward off at the moment. Certainly not. No, Elder off, sorry. Maybe taking Ward off, maybe. Defensively, would you take Langas off, who's traditionally our best players, bringing on? Because if you're taking off Langas, you're going to probably inevitably bring in on Danny Bart, who is notoriously slow. Curtis Nelson, maybe, actually. Curtis Nelson is... I didn't even realise he was still under contract with the club. When was the last time he was in a game? Caden Jackson, he's also potentially an option off the bench. That'd be an interesting one, certainly. But yeah, I doubt we're that long away from kick-off in this one. But I think I should be able to watch Newcastle versus Fulham. So, yeah, that might be our next live watch-alongs after today. After the couple which we're doing today. So that should be an interesting one. Tomo is warming up at half time, which sort of implies to me that he's not going to be on the pitch in this second half. He's just been sent down at the tunnel. The Leicester fans looking quite jovial at the moment. Not unsurprisingly so. And Leicester have just come out of the tunnel in preparation for this second half. Derby are looking a bit despondent. I hope something's been done at half time. Curtis Nelson, has he ever actually played with Bobby de Corver-Reid? Trying to think where their careers would have overlapped in a sense. Bobby de Corver-Reid has been around for a while now, so I know he was originally at Fulham, but I don't think... Where's their careers? Cardiff? Probably Cardiff, wasn't it? When they played with each other at Cardiff. Yeah. So yeah, it would have been Cardiff where they knew each other from. Football is a bit of a small world in a sense that there's always likely to have been people who've been teammates with others in certain dressing rooms. Oh, Tomo is coming on. I did say that, didn't I? I said that Tomo would be a person potentially. So Salverson is coming off for Vyman, which was one of the decisions that I was wondering what should happen at half time. And Tomo, I would imagine, is coming on for Ibu. because they're a very similar style of players. Yep, Ibu Adams coming off, Tomo coming on. Right, let's see if this has done something. I like Tomo, I really do. I think he shows passion as well, and he's a bit of a ratter. And also, considering Ibu's on a yellow as well, we don't want to lose him long term. Just having a bit of an off day, you know. We all have them. Brereton Diaz will be one kicking us off in this second half. And in traditional style, going all the way back to Zetterstorm, who will then ping it really far long to try and find one of our people up front. That is just how Derby do things. Right. Okay. We're at least attacking in this sense. Tomo couldn't quite get the cross in, but that is already the sort of style of play that Tomo brings, which is so much better and different from Ibu. Tomo is somebody who will rat and go forward and try his best. He hasn't quite managed to do best there and has conceded a throw in, but I think for me, Tomo is a player I'd rather have in my team at the moment. I'm not sure about any other Derby fans, what your thoughts are on that regard. But especially on this current performance, Ibu Adams may even end up going to the bench again. Serious questions have to be asked, don't they? About how this performance has even come about as Leicester attack again. And cross comes in. Why have everybody just left that there? Bobby DeCorva-Reid almost could have scored of that I don't think he was really expecting it to actually even manage to get to him, because all the defensive players seem to have left that. Sanderson could have got it. Clark could have got it. Langas could have got it. None of them did, and thankfully it didn't even end up at Bobby DeCorva-Reid, because I don't think he expected to get a free pass, free centre backs. You know, absolutely ridiculous. So we're quite thankful for that one, but oh my days. I suppose the thought process was maybe it was more like to concede an own goal from that situation, but even so. Long it goes. Tomo is never going to win that header, though. With all respect and abilities that Tomo does possess, height is not one of them. Leon Thompson must be 5'4". You know, he's not going to win many aerial duels in the game. Bless him. I think Brereton Diaz seems to have been a player who has moved into the centre forward position. Quite interesting. Vyman seems to be a bit more midfield almost at this moment in time, which is a bit of an odd thing to see. Very experienced player, Vyman. Came back this summer, having previously played for Derby. Hey, was under Rowett, wasn't it? That Vyman used to play. Yeah, I mean, I felt he was very much not used in the correct position out wide when he was originally with Derby. He's a bit more of a rotational player now, not really used as much. But if he can score a hat-trick in this one, I ain't complaining. Langas with the ball at the halfway line. To Sanderson, into the midfield circle with Liam Thompson, who I think has already had a much better impact in terms of getting into space, not getting into too many scrappy battles. Langas pinging it forward, but has too much on that. It really is. That pass with way too much weight on it. Long by Leicester, but well recovered. Good defensive header, I don't know. There's no one else there picking it up. I don't think the defensive header was the issue. I think there's just too much space around that no one's operating. Derby are playing too close together at the moment. They're not using the full extent of a Pride Park pitch, which is actually quite a big one overall. We do tend to like using the wing play, so that tends to be why we keep it so big. Tomo's been nicked, which is never a good sign because he has his troubles a bit with injury as well at the start of the season. But it will be a free kick for Leicester, which I actually take backwards, which is a confusing tactic to say the least. But they've done it nevertheless, and it's gone out for, I would assume, a goal kick. Tomo, I would was very questionable whether he was going to stay at Derby or not. He signed a 2-year contract now. I think he's a championship standard player, but I think a lot of people don't see what others like what Derby see in him. So he may end up having to be dropped down to League One, where I think he wouldn't actually be as good, which is a difficult thing for his decision in his career to make. Because obviously, do you want to be a bench rotational player, or do you want to and just pull them out because there was a shot by Ducrover Reed? I think no, it wasn't. It was Leicester's number 10. Mavididi, who's tried to have a shot there. It'll be a throw-in for Leicester here. And we're about line in penalty area. A bit of all very much in that far winging area. Tomo can't get a good enough slide tackle on that. Matt Clark clears. And Weimann, who seems to be operating as a winger. I think they put Brereton Diaz as a centre forward and Weimann as a winger. Appears to be what they've done. Which is an interesting move. I think Brereton Diaz can certainly operate as a centre forward because I think he has proven himself, especially with Blackburn. I remember his seasons, a few seasons ago with Blackburn, was such a good player. It's out for a throw-in for Leicester. Elder making sure it wasn't a corner at least. Not much difference the second half, shame to say, for Derby's perspective. Changes haven't brought a lot. That's not the greatest from Zetterstrom. I would have tried to catch that instead of punching it. Decision making, you've got to think everything through. It's going to be another throw-in, I think, for Leicester here. It's Derby's decision making this game has not been what I would be desiring from it. Hence the reason we're 3-0 down. We're in a position that we're just so it's just annoying. Okay, goes out for another throw into Leicester because it's been headed away by the number 14, which is Weimann, I believe. Can we actually get out of our own box and start doing things? Start getting the game to actually start playing. Leicester's just going to dominate us this game. This is going to go down in history as one of the worst performances that Derby's ever done. A bit of a scrap in that one, and both of them go tumbling. Who is the captain now? Has Weimann been brought on as a captain? Because that'd be an interesting one. Bold decision to bring off your captain, but I think it's the right call. So I think that tells you what you need to know. But we don't have a lot of vocal people. We really don't. Travis and Morris were both very vocal people, and Ibu as well. So we don't have a lot of vocalness on the pitch, and that will be surely a foul. Adjuman just being ploughed into the back of. We want to take it quickly. Come on, who's there? No one was there to support Vyman because Vyman was going to lay off a cross there, and he's managed to get himself as a corner, which was very good. I think Vyman's done a great job there, but people need to support him, and that could have been almost a given goal because he was not in a position where he was ever going to be able to score. But he would have been able to lay it off nicely on the plate for someone. Hopefully, we can get something from this corner. A little bit of hope, a little bit of optimism. It's going to be taken. Punched away. Shot, which is deflected, which will probably go out for a throw-in. Yep. I think it was a Bobby Clark shot, potentially, that one. That's what I like about Bobby Clark. He takes risks and chances, and actually, I think that wasn't too bad of a shot. It was just a bit of a crowded, and so therefore deflected away for a throw-in. Stop pushing around Langas. Oh my days, get off him. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're not really meant to be using your hands, are you? Flipping it. All sorts of holding and scrapping going on in that box. A back pass by Bobby Clark was it was an audacious thing to do, and I don't think anybody really thought he was going to do it. So that's got to be a throw-in for Derby. This has been better. This could potentially do something for us here. I'm beginning to get a bit more creeping optimism in it. If we just score, before the hour mark, I'm not saying never. We can get out of here with a point, but the longer you leave it, the harder it's going to be. So Langas to Sanderson. Thompson's got it now, I think. No, that's Bobby Clark. Don't know where Thompson's up. I imagine near side. Matt Clark. Now that's got to be a throw-in for us. Elder managing to win a throw-in for us there. Our captain's Elder. Okay, interesting enough. I would not have seen that at all, but apparently Elder's going to be our captain. What a bizarre decision. I would have said Matt Clark, actually. Any reason he's chosen Elder? I don't know. That's something we've not quite decided on this season, is who's going to be our captain. If injuries sort of forced that. That's a poor pass from... I can't tell you where it is. It's too far away. It was a poor pass. Long by Zetterstrom. Ajiman going to try and get this. Unfortunately, can't. He needs to get a bit stronger, I think. But I like the intent from Zetterstrom. He was trying to pick him out. He was trying to pick out the American. But, yeah, I think that's... He's a frustrating one, isn't he? What is going on? Why is the goal kick not being taken by the goalkeeper is an absolute ridiculous. Presumably that's why, because the goalkeeper is one of the worst goalkeepers of goal kicks that I have ever seen. He's just kick on and kick that. Out for a throw. Corey Blackett-Taylor is warming up by the looks of it. That's always good to see. Is he going to come on for Ward? It's apparently a retaken goal kick for whatever reason whatsoever. Clearly, even the referee was embarrassed about how bad that was. Thompson. Out to Langas. Back to Thompson. Well, it's Bobby Clark. I keep on messing up. They're both blonde, and when you see the front of them, it's not an easy thing to see. Langas will take this throw. That's got to be a foul. No ref. It's going to be a corner. Unlucky not to get a penalty. I thought that was maybe a shove in the back in the box there. And Brereton Diaz is fuming because he's been pulled absolutely. Like, how is that not a foul right there? He's being pulled down to the ground by Thomas. And then there's been a bundling over by Vestergaard into... What the flip has gone on there then, ref? That is some horrendous refereeing decisions. 2 blatant fouls. One of them should have been a penalty. Adjiman was pushed. Brereton Diaz was pulled to the ground. Don't let this game be marred by another refereeing controversy. We had enough of that against Watford. 82% of the action, by the way, has been in Leicester's penalty area this half. I think Derby have been much better this second half. I think that stat does bear that out a bit. But it's no use unless we score in this one. It's still 3-0 to Leicester. Out wide for Leicester now as we speak, in the middle of the park. Pride Park, that is. Adjiman has got it here. He seems to be being pulled a bit. And that is going to be a foul by Skip. Has calmed down a bit, but I think Skip's on a yellow. So he needs to be careful. But I may be wrong about that. But that is a late challenge by Skip. He did get the ball, but he also went through the player afterwards. It's not a card because of that, but it was a bold challenge, to say the least. Sanderson out to Langas. That should be another foul. Yes. This time it was Elder, I believe, who was the one who was impeded. No, Mavadidi. It's going to be a free kick by Derby's number 23. Ward, I think it is. Maybe it was Ward who was fouled. Come on with this one. We need something. Headed in. Langas with a header. We're back. Come on. That was on the card. Now go and get a second. Go and get a third. Come on, Derby. Come on, Derby. Great free kick there by Ward, who's whipped that in to Langas, who's just got a great header on his noggin. Absolute great header by the big Norwegian lad. He's not been the greatest today, but I think he's certainly shown why he is one of the better players at Derby's squad. Come on. Come on, Derby. Let's get back into this. Oh, and there's going to be a yellow card for... is it Dakova Reed for simulation, I believe? Not simulation. Oh, is it descent? Potentially. I can't quite tell. But yes, kick off for Leicester. You're just getting a... You look like somebody was being written into the book by the referee there. Though I don't know if he was just writing in who scored the goal. Ayu's just being aggressive now with Langas. This man has literally got no chill. But yes, Bobby Dakova did get a yellow card. I think it was for dissent. It is one of them games, isn't it? I said it in the first half. There may well be a red card. I'm just hoping it's for Leicester, not Derby, because thankfully we've taken Ibu off, which was one of the players who was probably more likely in our squad to get a red card. That's going to be a foul, and that's going to be a free kick for Derby. And now another good position to be in. And if we can make that another goal in as many minutes. Corey Blackett-Taylor is coming on, as is Caden Jackson, by the looks of it. which is very attacking-based changes in this one. I don't know. And Bobby de Reed is also coming off for Leicester. Or Hamza Chowdhury will be for them. I don't know who's coming off for Derby yet. But yeah, I think de Reed, his booking sort of cemented himself to having to come off. But an offensive change, which is always an interesting one. Clearly, Leicester don't think they're going to sit back for this one at all. But Dion Sanderson. So we're going to a back four then, I'm guessing. Dion Sanderson coming up for Caden Jackson. And Joe Ward coming off for what I can only assume is Corey Blackett-Taylor. So Corey Blackett-Taylor is going to be operating in a wing-back system. The back two, I would assume, be Langas and Clark, and Elder to be the other wing-back. So that's a whole change in formation. Are we going 4-3-3? Are we going 4-4-2? Can't think of which one. 4-4-1-1. I'm not sure. But we're definitely changing formation to a back four. I think. I would say 4-3-3 maybe. We've also got Vyman on the pitch. It's like a 4-2-4, which isn't really a well-used formation. 4-2-3-1 maybe? Well, there's a scrap. This was always going to happen. James Justin involved in a scrap with Bobby Clark. This was always going to happen in this game. Always going to happen. Bobby Clark and James were having a scrap. There's several other people who've been called over. Ricardo, Elder, and Vyman have all been called over. Elder's the captain, obviously. All the Derby players going to go and profess the innocence of Clark, which is not particularly helpful in this situation. Yes, there's the two captains and the two players involved in the talk here. James and Clark involved in the scrap. So I think he's just going to let it go. A bit of a gentleman's handshake. Not too bad. I don't mind that. Because it was either had to give both of them yellows or Bobby Clark was the instigator, but I think James did pick up the ball for claiming, well, I think that was meant to be a free kick. There was no, yes, free kick for Derby, so I don't know why he picked up the ball. So I think that was maybe a little bit of a, James shouldn't have been doing that, but Clark shouldn't have gone into the back of him in the first place. Bobby Clark showing a bit of young hot-headedness, maybe in this. Elder to take this free kick. Four-man wall for Leicester. It's a very decent position to potentially score here. It would be great if we could. Really great if we could. And straight into the wall. On the rebound, again into the wall again. Oh my days. And it'll go out for a throw-in. Not the greatest of free kicks from Elder, I must say there. But it'll be a throw-in from some Ward, sorry. Elder was one again. They put the wrong flipping person up on the board, on the thing. Brent Brereton Diaz have come off from Corey Blackett-Taylor as well. So they put the wrong person to have come off. It doesn't help anybody in this situation. So Ward is still on the pitch. Didn't take that free kick. That would have been Elder. But Ward took the throw in, I think. Oh, it's so confusing because Brentford and Diaz was coming. I was very confused from that change, about what formation Derby would have possibly been playing. Essentially, at the moment, we're playing with like two centre backs and everyone else in the opponent's penalty area. But Bobby Clark, Caden Jackson has it now. Can he do anything with it? Bobby Clark has a shot. Hamza Chowdhury is the one who's put a deflection block in there. can't pick the pass forward satisfactorily anyway, Ward. That's going to be nothing given there, but there's a bit of a tumble by Ward. Not Ward, Matt Clark. As the stream goes on, the more I'm just willing Derby to get something in this one. We've got 20 minutes pretty much for 2 goals is definitely possible. For 3 goals, I'm not sure, but I'm definitely, the momentum is now with Derby. As I said, I was thinking it was going to be a draw to begin with. It will take a 3-3. It's a bit of a heart-stopping game, really. And it's a bit of a disappointing first half, really, for Derby. If we get back in the second half and get something from this one, I'd be very happy indeed. Bobby Clark is a bit surrounded by everyone there, but somehow managed to pick a pass. It's a cross in and say, oh, shot. And another one. Oh, Bobby Clark. A bit of a hit and hope optimistic shot there, which has gone over the bar. I would have said it would have been better for when I think it was Corey Blackett-Taylor trying to get it. It went to Ward, who whips for crossing, was parried away. Agyman couldn't get it, but Corey Blackett-Taylor tried and it was blocked for Corey Blackett-Taylor's shot. It was just not hit by the right side of a boot there by Bobby Clark. If he got his boot underneath that, then he probably could have got a good steered shot on goal. But unfortunately, it was a bit of a miscue over the top. We've had much more possession in the second half, 63% of possession. It's not been as little possession as we thought we were going to get. We've had 11 shots to Leicester 4, by the way. On the stats, we really should be a team which was winning this. We've been statistically much better. It's really, really bizarre in a sense that we're 3-1 down. Which sort of shows what we're missing with Morris, because if we had Morris, I reckon we probably could have converted a few of them shots. But either way, I'm now feeling much better in this half, much more optimistic. We can get a last-minute equaliser by a Matt Clark header. Corey Blackett-Taylor out on the wings. Good to see him back. I think he's a good player. It's just, unfortunately, he's not always fully fit. Matt Clark not doing a great job there, to be honest. Cheap losing possession to getting a goal kick. You can just see Eustace gradually grey. As the more long this game goes on, the more grey he's going to get. The stress involved in this game, it's something else. It's making me turn grey. Goal kick by Leicester. They will go predictably very long. They've had a large duration spell of pressure against them. I'd actually say Derby's had most amount of a pressurising game in this entire game, to be honest. It's been a very odd one in the sense that you wouldn't think it'd be a 3-1 Leicester if you were actually watching this game. They've just been so, I wouldn't say lucky because it's part of our own undoing in a sense, but you know, they've just been clinical, maybe is the word, when opportunities have come to them. A bit of formation discussing by Eustace. I do love to see that. I think they are clearly trying to plan to do something. I can't think what. Get like a Pep Guardiola overlapping runs, maybe. I don't know. I certainly feel we don't have a bad team to be able to do that sort of Pep style of football. Certainly think that we've got that level of team that has sort of some of that level of squad ability. I won't quite admire that from being a sweeper keeper, but yeah, we're just kicking around in the middle of the field at the moment, so it's not too much of a commentary to be going on with. Corey Blackett-Taylor can't take on his player. It's a bit of a one-trick pony, that one, trying to take on his player. It was a bit too obvious what he was going to try and do, and he was well read. by the Leicester man. Goes back to Zetterstrom. Come on, Derby. Still got 2 more goals to score. Just watch out. IU is always going to be lurking around for an opportunity. Always watch out for him. That'll be a throw-in for us. Thomas, yet again, being the better dog, he has certainly, I think, in my opinion, lost that battle on that wing up against, I believe it's Joe Ward, who was, I don't think he's a bad player, but I think we have been winning that battle, and it's cleared away. Offside in the end, given there. We've got 15 minutes left to go. Can we get 2 more goals in that time? I don't know. Come on. Come on, Derby. Come on. Really nervous. Oh. Well, Roy McFarlane, I believe that is, in the technical. He's a club ambassador, isn't he, Roy McFarlane? But he's looking on nervous. A good old legend of a club. Won the first division title with Derby twice in the 70s. I think he was manager at one point of us. It wasn't a very successful one. But yeah, definitely one of our best players ever. If you're interested in who I think the Derby top 100 best players of all time are, go and check out the channel. It is, just put it in the channel name. When you go into click on channel, click on the search thing and just type up top 100 players. It should have come up. Ajay Manga passing it out to Corey Blackett-Taylor. If Blackett-Taylor can get a cross in here, he's been a bit selfish there. And he's tried to chip it, and that's going to be a foul and presumably a yellow card for Liam Thompson in due fashion. He went absolutely sliding in there. It was always going to be a yellow. It's not really as Yannick Vestergaard is just sort of questioning Thompson, like, what are you doing in that position? Which is sort of a right question to ask. Oliver Skips was one who went tumbling. Tomo went like no attempt for the ball whatsoever. That is a very Tomo move, to be honest. A change, double change, actually, for Leicester City. They're looking like the attacking ones as... are they going to try and consolidate their win or going to kind of push a bit? I'm not sure. But IU is coming off. He's just not been in the game today, to be honest. He's getting on a bit, I think, as well. Jordan IU. Abdul Fatawu is coming off. It's someone who I butchered the name and completely ignored almost all game because of that. And Jordan IU as well is coming off for Patson Daka and Silko Thomas. So there was 2 Thomases on the pitch for... Leicester and 2 Clarks on the pitch for Derby. Doesn't get much more confusing than that, does it? I don't know much about Silko Thomas. I'm not a huge knowledgeable on him. I've known Patson Daka. He used to be with Watford, didn't he? Very decent player. Ward for... Actually, Ward won't take this throw, and I thought he was going to be giving it to Langas to take. Is Langas a natural throw and taker? I'm not sure. Clearly he is. He's done quite a long one there, and he'll take it again. And he's headed away by Vestergaard, and he's thrown it this time to Matt Clark. Zetterstrom has this, lays it off to Langas. Just content to keep it in the back. I'd like to see us push a bit further for a second. Come on. There's still chances in this one. Nicely done. Good use of a wing play at the moment. Come on, get it out midfield. We need to press it forward a bit. Tomo laying it back to Clark. He passes that out to Ward. Back to Clark. I think Adjumang needs to be a bit stronger. There is aspects to his play, Adjumang. He can definitely improve on an upper body strength is one. Get in the gym, getting a bit stronger. Wouldn't be too opposed to. It's a bit like when Daniel Sturridge first burst onto the scene back in the day. He needed a bit bulking up, and after that, he was an absolute baller at Liverpool. If you remember, way back then, back in the 2013 sort of time. Ward to take this throw in. Bobby Clark. Back to Ward, who whips the cross in. Goes all the way through to Corey Blackett-Taylor, who shoots. Can't get there. Can he get the seconds? No. Is that going to go out for a throw-in? And maybe a throw-in for Leicester. Corey Blackett-Taylor at least trying something. I don't think that's a handball. There was some shouts for it, but it was firmly down by his side, his arms. Nothing he could have done about that. Frustrating is the word I'd use to sum up this game. Because I don't actually think Derby's been the worst team. I don't think 3 goals conceded necessarily depicts how... I think this game's been much more equal than the scoreline perhaps suggests. So I wouldn't mind it being a draw. Take a point at this point in proceedings. Certainly would. I think I would have taken a point as soon as the third goal came in. Again, Leicester with the ball. Hamza Chowdhury is running forward. Is that no? I think it's that Silko Thomas actually, and it's saved by Zetterstrom fairly comfortably. He's going to have to go. Silko Thomas was a very decent player in that one. Not being able to find the right man with that pass. Leicester content to keep it in their defensive area, push them a bit, just by a bit of pressure, a bit of pace. I know it's getting to that stage of the game where you're a bit leggy, but we've had 4 new players brought on in this team. Tumbling into that. Matt Clark, what are you doing? Needlessly giving a foul away. Like, when we're trying to push for 2 goals in 8 minutes, that's not the time to be tumbling into players. I think Marty Cifuentes looked a bit lost in this second half, to be honest. I think Leicester have been quite poor, really. But we've just not been clinical and good enough. And we threw it away in the first half, really. We really did. It's not great. It's not as bad as sometimes last season, right? But we're going to get mid-table this season, I think, which is about where we're expected to be. But games like this does deflate your confidence, and it does suddenly make you start doubting everything, really. I think if we've got a midweek game, then that'll be quite good for us. Put this immediately to bed. Bobby Clark situation off. Corey Blackett-Taylor can't quite do so. Referee has just stood him away there of, I think it was Elder. It's not great. He's definitely helped them there. Definitely has. Because he would have got that. Matt Clark has just stood up quite strong and made a great tackle, which is always good to see. The thing is, Adjumang's our centre forward, and I'm not too sure how I think about that at this moment in time. I would have preferred Brereton Diaz as it. Because Adjumang, I don't think naturally scores many goals. He scored a few. I think he scored 3 so far this season. I know he's a bit more of a wider player, but I think you need someone who's a bit stronger to be in that holder position. I think Brereton Diaz is slightly stronger. Rhian Brewster will be a huge addition when he comes back from his injury woes. Again, Silko Thomas coming forward, and another great challenge by Clark in there. It goes to Justin, I think it is. That's not going to be a penalty. There's way too little on that. Silko Thomas has gone down looking for a penalty. Don't know what he was trying to claim there, because that was obviously not a penalty. Like, it's literally a small touch that does not warrant you falling down in that position. It would have been an incredibly light penalty to give. I think Bobby Clark was blocked off the ball there, but he's claimed that Bobby Clark has given a foul. Right. Not entirely convinced about that one. There's some Leicester, I think that is ambassador there, but I can't think of who that is. I don't know who Leicester's club ambassador is. I would have thought it would have been Gary Neville. Not Gary Neville, Gary Lineker. What am I talking about? The stream's getting to me, and it's at that stage where I'm just wanting it to be over, because I don't think Derby can get 2 goals in 5 minutes. We're really not. Just not been good enough this game. We really haven't. And another change for Leicester, just to, waste some time. Why ever not? I think they're bringing on a youngster as well. He's got number 56. That marks an end of the day for Steffi Mavididi, who I have really not mentioned. Again, another name I would have potentially messed up. And James's day is coming to an end as well. Olabade Aluko is coming on. And Jordan James going off, who's looked a very good talent, I must say, for Louis Page. But yeah. Can Derby get 2 in really late minute fashion? Can we get like a Fergie time level equaliser? I don't think so. I really don't. But go on. Jackson just taking that first time. That's an embarrassing miscue from Langas. Should have scored that. Really should have scored that. It was a great free kick in the end. It was long, direct. Clark's headed it on. The goalkeeper's come out a bit poorly. But I think Jackson should have been the one to shoot instead of Cross there. And I think Langas, I don't blame him because he's a centre-back, but that is like a centre-back shot whenever you see one, because there was nowhere near going into the goal. That was like defensive duties. Oh, Langas. If you got a brace, that would have been quite something, wouldn't it? We are really missing that Carlton Morris clinical finishing edge at the moment. Oh my days. Zetterstrom being sweeper keeper there. And that will be a foul. You were never going to get that, Vyman. You were really never going to get that. So why you jumped to die for that header is beyond me. But, oh my. But yes, 2 minutes left. I'm conciled to the fact that we are going to be defeated. Other hands to Leicester. When are we going to win against Leicester again? It's been so long. It's not great, is it? It's not really what you want to be seeing. Great tackle in that one. It was a sweeping it down low scoop. Marty Cifuentes is wanting another one, I think. Potentially could. I don't know. Lang has to take this throw in. It's got to be a good one. And it's not. There'll be another throw in. Very frustrated. Louis Page, is it? I'm not sure. Corey Blackett-Taylor has done well there, spinning his defender inside out. Going forward, cross that in, shoot. Oh. Shoot again. Bobby Clark probably could have taken a bit of time on that one. I think he's slightly snatched at that. That's so annoying because we could have got something there. Why is it only now that we're showing this level of effort and determination? Why is it only now that we're leaving it so late? A cross comes in and it's going to go out for a throw-in. Great bit of defensive work from Vestergaard, I must say. But this shot, so Corey Blackett-Taylor lends it off. Hayden Jackson across. And it's the last bit defending. Vyman almost scores in that one. Could have got 5 minutes of added time. What is going on? What is going on? Just take the flipping. Elder's coming off for Nelson. Why are you doing that? This is ridiculous. Now Nelson's the captain. I know Curtis Nelson is a player and a half. Like, we missed him a bit, I think. But what the flip are you doing, Eustace? You did not do that. Cross come in. Oh, no. It's going to be another corner. A great save. Oh. It was headed in by Nelson as well. That would have been an immediately great impact if he managed to do that. And we know Nelson's got an aerial threat. Oh. That was so close. That was so close. And that's what we've missed with Nelson. His aerial prowess on corners. Because I think he could be a really good one. Because we got a great corner taker. And if we can get a great header as well. Go on. Bobby Clark can take a shot again. And it's going to go out again. Take your flipping time, Bobby Clark. You don't need to take every shot that comes your way. It was so obvious you were not going to score that. Oh no. Bobby Clark again. Caden Jackson. I think he's actually improved a lot. I think Caden Jackson's improved a lot since Eustace has come in. He's a good sub player to have. He's a bit of a super sub. Ward to take this corner. He's covered in mud. You can tell. For me, Ward has been my Derby man of the match, actually. Yet again, he's been time after time doing some absolute incredible crosses in. He's really what we've sort of been relying on this game in a sense. Corey Blackett-Taylor has it, lays it off. I'm concerned that we're not going to get anything from this game, but a consolation goal will be good, and another corner by the looks of it. And the goalie is down injured. It was a great diag. He's tried to catch that, and he's just tumbled into a onrushing Nelson, who has really got no fear. How much this is wasting time, I don't know. The medic team has come on. I think it is a head injury. So you obviously don't hope he's not injured, but I don't understand necessarily how he would have been able to get so badly injured from that. Not the head, anyway. Referee had this time on, by the way. There's going to be at least 2 minutes to add on afterwards. Not fun. Not fun at all. Credit to a lot of Derby's home fans who are sticking around, actually. It could have been very easy just to leave. So, yeah, there's got to be at least another added on minute onto this. So I'm hoping the referee doesn't blow up on the 95th, because there was at least a minute added extra time in that one. At least. Another corner for Derby. Corey Blackett-Taylor is not winning a foot race there either. The issue is we just don't have that much pace in our team. Leicester are a very pacey team. A very pacey possession-based team, and we sort of know that. But yeah, Ward, for me, getting man of the match for Derby. I feel sorry for us to do a post-match interview in this one. I think Matt Clark has conceded a free kick in their penalty area. Bit easy. I think Daka went down a bit easy in that one, in my humble opinion. Eustace is a bit fed up, I think. He just wants his game to end. I don't blame him either. I really don't blame him. It's not a great one. Not a great watch. Silko Thomas trying to get it there, but Langas gets the better in that aerial duel. Good to see some of the subs that we brought on have had a real impact, though. Potentially a bit of a change to the starting 11 in the next lineup, maybe. Because I certainly think there was some good. I would definitely drop Ibu for Tomo. Thing is, Ozo and Bobby Clark was such a good combination. But it's a bit of a shame, really, that Ozo's been injured. Corey Blackett-Taylor trying to hold it up here. Gone down a bit too easy, in my opinion, on that bit. We've been given quite a generous bit of extra time here, and we've not really made it count, because we definitely could have done something in it. Bobby Clark has it. He's looking for a penalty, and he's not going to get one, is he? Oliver Skip having a little laugh with him. He knew what was going to happen there. Oh, Caden Jackson, and that's going to be an easy save for the goalkeeper, and that'll probably be the last action of the game. Whoa, Stolosis and Vyman having a face-off. I don't know what the goalkeeper's doing there. What the flip is going on? I think there may be some scraps at the end of the game, so we'll carry on watching for a bit, because I think there may be a bit of scraps, because it is full-time there. Absolutely ridiculous. But, what is going on in this Derby squad at the moment? Oh. It's not pleasant watching. It's not. It really isn't. And it does look like, thankfully, that Leicester and Derby seem to be a bit amicable at the end of the game. Disappointing one altogether. Hi, Iman Hussein. How are you doing? Crymore Hamza has arrived. Well, okay. He didn't score. He didn't actually do anything. Hamza was rubbish. This one, Derby were much better in the second half, in my opinion. A bit annoying in terms of the game, but it is what it is. We will go through. Well, just looking at the momentum charts, Derby had so much momentum in that second half. We just didn't quite manage to capitalise. We actually had most of the momentum most of the game. Really annoying. We should have scored before the end of the. We shouldn't have conceded the third, and we should have probably scored before the end of a half-time whistle. If I was going to be honest, Jordan James, for me, gets the man of the match. I can't give it to a Derby player. I really can't. The Derby's best player, though, was Ward, if we were to give it to a Derby player. Going through the lineups, we'll start with Derby. We'll start with the misery. Zetterstrom on a 6.0. That's always going to happen when you concede 3 goals. I don't think he was as confident as maybe he was before. He made 2 saves in total. 7.0 for Callum Elder before he got subbed for Curtis Nelson. I think he was very decent overall, actually. He had all 5 of his tackles he won. He had 12 clearances. He won 5 out of his 7 ground duels, 3 out of 4 his aerial duels. You can't really blame him too much. I think Callum Elder was a very solid player, and also in terms of some of his crossing, all the time he was trying to pass forward. He would always be passing forward on the wings, pretty much, trying to get things doing, pinging balls forward. He had 1 accurate cross out of 3. But yeah, I think he was very much someone who was trying to get the Rams forward in that one. So don't blame Elder at all for the loss. 6.4 for Clark. I think he could have been better. I'm going to be honest. I think he could have been. Defensively, he only had 2 tackles. He did win both of them, but yeah, could have got involved a bit more, I think. 7 clearances, 2 recoveries, 3 out of 5 ground duels won, 3 out of 6 aerial duels won. He just wasn't quite positionally, maybe, and defensively in the right places at right times. 6.1 for Dion Sanderson. An off day for Sanderson, certainly for me. He was just nowhere to be seen in the box. He didn't cover his man as much as I really wanted to. He didn't do a single tackle either, by the way. I just didn't get as much in the defensive duties that I would like to see Sanderson. And I know he's been better, so I don't want to criticise too much. Langas on a 6.7. I think that's mainly because of his goal. Certainly improved and atoned a bit for his defensive work from the first half, because I think he was a bit poor in that first half. But several clearances, 7 clearances in total, by the way. Still no tackles, and, you know, he had to recover a fair bit, and he was dribbled past at one point. So I think defensively it could have been better, but certainly for me, he was in that position where he was, he did cover quite a lot of that area and defensively, and he did score, so you can't be complaining too much about him. That second scuff shot, though, my days if that went in, we could have seen a right old game, couldn't we? Brereton Diaz came off for Corey Blackett-Taylor. I think he was a bit quiet. 6.2 he was given. 2 key passes. 1 out of his 2 crosses were accurate. I think he was better in the first half. When it came to the second half, he understandably got taken off for Blackett-Taylor. Bobby Clark on a 6.8. I think he took a lot of shots, and he was pretty much everywhere. He was actually doing all sorts of progressive passing as well. 1 key pass. So the passing per se wasn't necessarily that. But if you look at some of the shots, his XG on his shot was a 0.02. But he took 7 shots in total. He wasn't afraid to take a shot. I think none of them were on target and 6 of them were blocked. So maybe a bit of decision making of when to take a shot wouldn't harm Bobby Clark in the slightest. I don't think. 6.7 for Ibu Adams came off at half-time for Liam Thompson. We talked a bit about him in this first half, but yeah, it was very much sideways or backwards passing, bit scrappy. He found his man 92% of the time. It's just I didn't really fancy seeing an Ibu performance where just none of the progressives were progressing. We'll come into Thompson in a minute. 7.3 for Joe Ward, very much hugging that touchline and some incredible corners. His cross-field passing ability is something to be quite frankly admired, I must say. 1 assist, 1 big chance created, 3 key passes. My man of the match, 7.3. If you just look at his sort of ability to, I don't think it's got how many corners he actually took, but there was some. Where's the? Yeah, 1 shot on target. He hit the crossbar, of course, in the first half. If that managed to get in, I think we could have drawn the game well and truly. 2 shots were blocked as well. He had 1 offside. He was very offensively good as well. Joe Ward, I think, has turned a complete new lease of life since Eustace has come in. He's been a much better player. He saw someone which nobody really saw this on the cards, both him and Elder, just suddenly coming out of nowhere and being absolute ballers. Like, Eustace has unlocked something in these two players that I've not seen before. 6.1 for Salverson, very disappointed by the Norwegian player and making it look all the more likely that we need the likelihood for the injury to Morris to not be that serious. And the sooner he can come back, the better, because, yeah, I was not impressed. When you're an attacking player, right, and you're not taking a single shot all game, it does say a lot. 6.1 for Adjuman, a bit of a similar position. Needs to strengthen up. Really needs to strengthen up for me. He was not strong enough in his duels, in his shots, in his ability to get the ball. He had 4 unsuccessful touches, which does, out of the 28 touches he took, that's like 1 in 7 of his touches were unsuccessful. Only 1 successful dribble. Lost possession 9 times. Yeah, I mean, for me, get him a bit of strength and conditioning into him, and he can be a good player. 6.6 rather for Andreas Weimann, coming on at half-time for Lars Jorgens Salverson. He had 1 shot, and that was blocked. Wasn't immediately great. Again, showing how much we do rely on Morris a bit. He was playing a bit deeper than I maybe expected, and maybe a bit wider than I expected as well. He almost managed to get a second goal very near the end of the game, if you remember that one, which was cleared off the line almost by the defender when Derby had a last few minutes hurrah to try and get something from the game. 6.6 for Tomo. Much better than Adams, in my opinion, coming up half time. Little flicks on and stuff. He was again a bit of a defensively, maybe, in terms of most of his ones were side to side passing, to be honest, in an attacking forward position. Him along with Bobby Clark was sort of constantly trying to flick on things and make things work. And that could be a duo that I think could actually work. If we see them across a full 90, I think then 2 midfielders could have some good chemistry developing, the 2 youngsters. Maybe loses a bit of experience, but I think they definitely have something. 6.4 rather for Corey Blackett-Taylor, who came on for 24 minutes for Brereton Diaz. He had a block shot from a throw-in. Bit of holding up play. Again, a bit of... He's only coming back from injury. And so seeing him being able to get back to his pre-season best, he was very good in pre-season friendlies, would be great to see. A 6.8 for Cajun Jackson, who was coming on for Dion Sanderson. He's vastly improved for me since Eustace has come in. He had a great shot, which was saved. He's doing a lot of good attacking play. I wouldn't mind him actually maybe starting in the next game. Curtis Nelson also came on in the 90th minute. We don't have a ranking for him because he was only on for a minute, in for additional time. But you know what? He actually had a shot and almost scored. Great header. So yeah, on to Leicester's team. Had a 7.0 for Stolarkits, who was a bit of a wind-up merchant in goal at times. He did do a lot of saves, must be said. He had 4 saves in total, 5 punches, and he did have an error which led to a shot. But yeah, he was a decent enough goalkeeper to keep them in it. 6.7 Ricardo Pereira. As captain, maybe could have done a bit better defensively, in my eyes. He had 9 recoveries. A lot of the time he was dragged out of position, and was very much challenged quite heavily on that right-hand side. Didn't really manage to cope with a Callum Elder press overly well. I think once Canola was made a bit deeper in play, Ricardo Pereira got a bit better. 6.9 for Benjamin Nelson. I didn't really see him too much, but they did a very good job in defence. I think he cleared. He was very much a clearing person in the defence. 4 out of 4 ground duels, won. 5 out of 8 aerial duels, won. I think he did the job he needed to do. A pretty basic performance from a defender. 6.4 for Yannick Vestergaard. Did a lot more moving. Yannick Vestergaard was a bit more all over the place. I'm not entirely sure if his best position is as a centre-back. Maybe more of a defensive midfielder. He had 9 clearances. He was clearing everything. And I think 6.4 is a bit of a poor rating. I know he got a yellow card, but even so, I think he was decent in this one. 7.7 for Luke Thomas. Yeah, he was a good winger. I know Luke Thomas is a good winger. He always is. And he's the sort of player who is like someone who can go forward in a attacking sense. He didn't dribble actually too many times. And he did do a lot of safe passes, maybe. But they were, by and large, he got the assist. Of course, for one of the goals. And can't complain too much about him. And for a left back, he did what he needed to do. 8.1 for Jordan James, man of the match. He was quiet at times, but all other times he was absolutely amazing. A shot and an assist. You've got to give a man of the match for somebody who does that. Yeah, I think he was actually just a bit sparse, if I'm going to be honest. But when he was on the ball, he made things happen. And I think that's a sign of a good player, maybe. Even if you're on your off day, you're still doing an absolute phenomenal performance. 8.0 for Ollie Skip. Another good defensive midfielder, Ollie Skip, and I thought he did a good job. He even had a goal to his name. All the passes he made was forward. He had that good goal from a corner. Well, it wasn't that great. I mean, it was a hard goal to score, to be fair, but he scored it nevertheless. 6.6 for Fatawu. Came off for Daka. I think he wasn't that great, to be honest. A lot of the times, the balls that he tried to play cross field didn't really find their man, and the ones that he was successful on were mainly backwards passing. 7.1 for Bobby de Corvoda-Reid. A decent enough performance. Shooting wise, he scored a goal, so you can't complain. He had a fair few attempts at some. It was a very long ball sort of play. I mean, he's fast. That's one of the main attributes he has, and that's what really cut us open. We can't deal well with pace at the moment. 6.5 for Stefano Vididi. Dribbling wise, almost faultless. But he got to a certain point and then he had to turn back and play it safe. He needs a bit more risk takers, I think, on the team if he's to do really well. 6.1 for Jordan Ayew. Yeah, he was rubbish and he came off for Silko Thomas. And actually, I thought they were much better offensively when Silko Thomas was on the pitch, even though they didn't score any at that time. Because there was only one shot for Jordan Ayew and it was from a fast break and it was saved. I mean, he did score an offside goal, which will probably be talked about a bit. But, it is what it is. On the bench, which came on, you had Hamza Chowdhury on a 6.7, coming on for de Corvoda-Reid. Was a bit quiet, to be honest. I don't think there was much that he did. He clearly was highly rated by some of you lot in the comments, but I don't think he did much, to be honest. I really don't. 6.5 for Silko Thomas. I thought occasionally he would have a good throwaway in, but the issue with Silko Thomas is he wasn't very good at passing. And maybe that's not an issue for an attacking-based player, but he also didn't have any shots as well. So he was running into the box and he could get them runs in, but I can see why he's maybe not favoured as much. Patson Dak on a 6.7. Bit of a needler, bit of a scrapper. But yeah, I don't think there was much from the game which you can really tell from what he did. Aluko on a 6.9. I don't know how they've got a 6.9 for Aluko when he was on for 11 minutes. But he had a fair few clearances. He did what he needed to do. He had 3 clearances, to be fair, during his time on the pitch. Louis Page also came on at the same time for Jordan James on a 6.6. Couple of miscued passes forward. Again, bit of a short sample size to say. Overall, Leicester had a 6.9. Derby had a 6.51. Leicester, well done. You do deserve to have that win, but it was a really frustrating one because I think there was times that Derby could have won but didn't. Anyway, if you did enjoy, please subscribe. We do various things on this content on this channel. I've got the live watch along later on tonight for Shrewsbury versus Sutton United. I've got a video for my predictions on Tuesday. I've also at some point going to be uploading what happens if 3 up, 3 down actually was the case in the National League going back. I'm not sure when I'm going to put that one up yet, but I've got it all fully planned out and scripted now. So that's all ready. And I should be going to Gateshead tomorrow to get some shorts and that. So a lot of fun all coming up on the channel in the upcoming weeks. But I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye for now.